It was on November 4, 1922, that Egyptologist and archaeologist Howard Carter, along with his team, discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun, a pharaoh of the 19th dynasty who reigned between 1332 and 1323 BC. Tutankhamun died at the age of 19 as a result of a broken leg that was further aggravated by an infection caused by malaria. Despite having been invaded by thieves twice, it is still one of the best preserved pharaonic tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Among the objects that were found there are the sarcophagus with the king's mummy, chests, and other artifacts. The cataloging process took almost 8 years. George Herbert, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon, founded Carter's work. When the tomb was opened, the nobleman asked the archaeologist, "Can you see anything?" and was told, "Yes, wonderful things." A ceremonial bed in the shape of the celestial cow, surrounded by provisions and other objects in the antechamber of the tomb. A bed in the shape of a golden lion, a chest for clothes and other objects in the antechamber. The wall of the burial chamber guarded by statues. A variety of model boats in the tomb treasury. A gilded lion bed and a clothing chest, among other objects, in the antechamber. Under the lion bed in the antechamber are several boxes and chests, and an ebony and ivory chair that Tutankhamun used as a child. A gilded bust of the celestial cow Mihawart and chests are among the tomb's treasures. Chests inside the treasury. Ornately carved alabaster vases in the antechamber. In a laboratory set up in Seti II's tomb, conservators Arthur Mace and Alfred Lucas clean one of the antechamber's sentinel statues. Howard Carter, Arthur Callender, and an Egyptian worker pack one of the sentinel statues for transport. Arthur Mace and Alfred Lucas work on a golden chariot from Tutankhamun's tomb outside the laboratory in Seti II's tomb. A statue of Anubis in a shrine in the tomb's treasury. This photo of Anubis wrapped in the shroud is the only evidence that the shroud ever existed, as it disintegrated when touched shortly after the image was taken. Carter, Mace, and an Egyptian worker carefully roll up the linen shroud covering the shrine. Carter, Callender, and two Fun facts. The pharaoh may have been born from incest. After analyses carried out in 2010, researchers discovered that Tutankhamun was born from incest between the pharaoh Akhenaten and one of his sisters. Sexual relations between close family members were considered common among members of the royal family in ancient Egypt, and many believe that this contributed to the increase in birth defects in several births, such as Tut's clubfoot. In the documentary Tutankhamun, The Truth Uncovered, researchers performed a virtual autopsy of Tut's mummified body and revealed that his appearance was very different from what they had imagined. Prominent teeth, wide hips, and a clubbed left foot. The result was obtained after more than 2,000 CT scans and genetic analyses. For years, it was believed that King Tut had died at the age of 19 from a blow to the head, possibly caused by one of his rivals. Experts later determined that the damage to the skull was done after his death, either during the embalming process or while being handled by scientists, but in 2005 another study determined that he had broken his leg and developed an infection shortly before he died. Other theories claim that the pharaoh had malaria, which caused his leg infection to progress rapidly, or that he had fallen to his death. The pharaoh's coffin, made of gold, was buried in the Valley of the Kings and surrounded by treasures, including a golden throne and crown, ceramics, and a variety of chests and coffers. In research published in the journal Meteoritics and Planetary Science, a team of researchers concluded that the blade of one of the daggers found in the pharaoh's tomb contained extraterrestrial materials. After analyzing X-rays and fluorescence, the study found 11% nickel in the object, but the material is only consistent with the iron seen in meteorites. Because it was hard to find at the time, iron was considered more valuable than gold to the ancient Egyptians. King Tut, shown on the History Channel, is a 3-part miniseries about the life of the young Tutankhamun and his rise to power in ancient Egypt. The production was directed by David Von Anken, who has worked on series such as Californication, CSI, New York, and The Vampire Diaries. Howard Carter, responsible for discovering the tomb in 1922, believed that Nefertiti had been buried with the pharaoh. Egypt's Minister of Antiquities, Mamdouh el-Damity, recently stated that the site had been examined with radar and may have 2 more hidden chambers, containing metallic and organic materials. The news was enough for scientists to speculate about the possibility that Nefertiti had been buried in one of these spaces.